Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Better History. My name is Logan, and today we are continuing our deep dive into William Lloyd Garrison's article on the Constitution and the Union. If you haven't, I recommend checking out the first two videos first. And last week I did a little bit of different editing, and this week I'm going to do it too. So let me know if you'd like it or if you want me to go back how I was doing it. Alright, so once again, we're going to break this up into sections, either 5 or 6. I can't really remember. But here is section 1. So, by the infamous bargain which they made between themselves, they virtually dethroned the Most High God, and trampled beneath their feet their own solemn and heaven-attested declaration, that all men are created equal, and endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, among which are be life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Here, Garrison accused the founders of a twofold betrayal. Not only did they undermine divine authority by making the bargain, but they also violated the sacred promises laid out in the Declaration of Independence, betraying the core principles of equality and inalienable rights, approved by a higher power, or in other words, God. Alright, if that made sense, now let's move on to section 2. They had no lawful power to bind themselves or their prosperity for 1 hour, for 1 moment, by such an unholy alliance. It was not valid then, it is not valid now. This portion reinforces the idea that the pact was based on an immoral foundation, slavery, and therefore has no legal or moral standing, either in the past or today. It underlines the timeless invalidity of such an arrangement. Invalidity. It took me a few minutes to figure out how to pronounce that. Alright, moving on to section 3. Still, they persisted in maintaining it, and still do their successors, the people of Massachusetts, of New England, and the 12 free states, persist in maintaining it. A sacred compact. A sacred compact. What, then, is wicked and ignominious? This closes off the first section of the whole article, or as I'm showing you right now, the first kind of paragraph. It laminates. Anyway, how successive generations continue to uphold an unjust system, painting a picture of enduring institutional injustice. The rhetorical repetition and concluding question force the reader, or us, to ponder what can be deemed truly wicked, implying that upholding such a compact is itself one of the greatest evils. Next up, we have section 4. This, then, is the relation in which we of New England stand to the holders of slaves at the South, and this is virtually our language toward them. Here, Garrison starts off this kind of second part of the article by establishing a framework that positions the people of New England in relation to their southern counterparts, those who own and perpetrate slavery, or slave owners. It sets a tone by implying that the language and attitudes expressed later are a direct commentary on that relationship. In doing so, the text introduces a duality. While New Englanders might in some ways be oppressed or subjected to hardships themselves, they have chosen complicity with and even admiration for the brutal ways in which the South upholds a system of dehumanization. Alright, this is the last section, section number 5. Go on, most worthy associates. From day to day, from month to month, from year to year, from generation plundering 2 millions of human beings of their liberty and the fruits of their toil, driving them into fields like cattle, starving and lacerating their bodies, selling the husband from his wife, the wife from her husband, and the children from their parents, spilling their blood, withholding the Bible from their hands, and all knowledge from their minds, and kidnapping annually 60,000 infants, the offspring of pollution and shame. I mispronounced some words there, but anyway, that was a lot. Alright, this is like the biggest section, I'm pretty sure. But Garrison uses vividly charged language to describe the brutal and systematic mistreatment of enslaved individuals. Each phrase underscores a specific cruelty, from stripping people of their basic human rights and dignity, plundering freedom, treating them like, quote, cattle, to the ripping apart of families and the forced ignorance of spiritual and intellectual nourishment. The hyperbolic tone, quote, 60,000 infants and, quote, 2 million of human beings, functions as a potent indictment of an institution that dehumanizes and exploits human life, aiming to shock the reader or us into recognizing the full magnitude of the atrocities. My pronunciation, not the best today. Alright, so that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, like, subscribe, and share to a loved one. See y'all next time, and you know the drill. Day or night. Have a good one.